but we are up on Facebook and YouTube. Okay. Turn off my heat. Oh, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? Merry Christmas and everything else. Are we good? I guess we are. All right. So, oh, I don't have my microphone plugged in. All right. So nobody over. Someone on YouTube. Hi, YouTube. So today I have a little bit of work, okay? A little bit of opening your heart, letting your light shine. We did that something similar a couple weeks ago, um, and now we are on the upswing. Days will start getting the light will start being longer, um, but it's cold and it's still pretty dark. So we'll let some light shine, and we'll also give ourselves a little bit of love at the end. It will be a little shorter today. I've got to run out as soon as I'm done here. So, hey, Cheryl, good morning. Um, so yeah, let's go ahead and move over to the mat. If you do have a block or a bolster or a blanket or a stack of books, right? We're always improvising. And maybe an available wall to you, because at the end we'll finish with some legs up the wall. Just kind of keep that in mind. If you don't have anything available, it's still fine, and you'll still get nice practice. So let's begin. We're gonna start seated. So find your comfortable seat, right? If you need to prop up, certainly do. Aligning the heels to the groin, making sure you feel upright on your pelvis. And then let's set it up here. So relax your inner hips, lift your lower belly, lift your pelvic floor, lower belly is in and up. Tall through the sides, but relax through your shoulders, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Stacking the body here, just close your eyes and give yourself a moment to simply just kind of check in. Notice what's going on this morning, how you feel. Remember to continually do this as you move through your practice. Noticing what poses feel just amazing, what maybe needs a little adjustment to make it better for you. Observing your breath, kind of the same idea, just kind of checking in. See how it's flowing this morning. And it starts to happen automatically, so let it begin to deepen the breath. Maybe slow it down a little bit. See if you can even it out so that the inhales and exhales are equally long. And then keeping what we have set here, everything else is just on top of this, right? So let's extend the arms out to the sides. And the next inhale, we're going to stretch them up. Exhale, bring them back down. We'll do that again. One more time. And then bringing that right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the body, just an easy little twist over to the left. Keeping the spine nice and tall, maybe looking over your shoulder if you like, or keeping the eyes closed at this point if that feels good. We're going to release that, come back through the center, take it to the second side. Coming back through the middle over to the first side again. Take this one a little deeper. So still upright on the pelvis, nice and tall through the spine. Add maybe pulling against the knee to draw around a little deeper into your twist. Take your time with it. Still early. We're going to release that back through the center and over to the second side. Again, same idea, a little deeper with this one. Working gently. Big breaths. And then releasing that back to the center again. Let's come around onto all fours. Nice and even on the four corners of the hands. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. And then working into some cat-cows to begin. On an inhale, drop your belly toward the floor. Pull the shoulder blades together and lift your tailbone. Exhale, round through your spine. Think forehead to belly button. And then in and out like that with the breath. Notice if you're very even through the spine or one area moves more than another. And see if you can get into those tight spots. Take one more flow. And then find your middle again. So a nice neutral spine, the belly's still engaged, supporting that lower back always. Let's go ahead and extend the right leg back. Heel in line with the hip. We want to press through the heel, make that leg nice and active. And then stretch through the left fingertips in the opposite direction. A nice long line. Easy breaths. That right hand is happy. We're going to release that side. And do the same thing on the second side. So left leg, pressing through the heel, right arm when you're ready. Take your time. Releasing that side down. We're going to add on. So let's go back to the right leg. Extend it back. When you're ready, left arm forward. So really actively reaching away from the body here. Take the arm over to the left and leg around to the right. And hand shoulder height, maybe foot hip height-ish. And then release your hand, take your toes over to the floor here, and come up on the left knee. If this is too much for the knee, you can cushion or skip this piece. Heel in line with the hip here. Let's reach the left arm up, and we're going to take it over. Stay nice and long, head in line. Just flopped over to the side. Another nice big breath. And then inhale, make your way back up. Releasing the hands to the mat. And then lifting the leg and holding it there. Don't worry about high. Try not to shift the hips a bunch. Try to keep them pretty much in the center there. And then we'll take the leg back and down. All right, so let's go second side. Left leg and right arm. Actively reaching away from the body as we take the arm to the right and the leg to the left. What's your breath doing? Releasing the hands to the floor, we're going to take the left toes to the mat and come up on the knee. Reaching the right arm up and over. Get one more nice big breath here. Inhaling as you come back up to the top, releasing the hands to the mat. And again here, just simply lifting the left toes away from the floor. If it's an inch, it counts, right? If you lift them really high, but you're, shifted all to the right, it's less work, right? So take the leg back and then down again into our all fours. We're gonna go one more time here with the right leg back. Shifting it or switching it up a little bit. Bend at the knee, lean to the left just enough, and see if you can pick up your right hand. We're gonna then reach back and see if we can find the foot. So take your time with it, and you might wobble. You might wobble a lot. If you can square the hips and lift the toes, just kind of play with where you are with this one. Gently release what you got there. Coming back into that all fours again. And we'll shift to the second side. So I'm going to turn back again here. Left leg back. And then you bend. Shifting just enough to lift the left hand and find the foot. So make the variations or take the variations, right, that are right for you. If you're struggling with your balance, then that's where you practice. Gently releasing, coming back into all fours. And then nice and easy here, go ahead and sit your hips back, making your way to child's pose. So adjusting and making this right for you. It's the first one. Sometimes it's not always so comfortable. If they're not already, extend the arms long in front and press down into the floor with the palms of the hands. We do this when we're standing, but you can do the same idea when your hands are on the floor, right? So pressing down into the four corners of the hands and then making your way up into a down dog. Take your time with it, wiggle around, bicycle your heels. Try to avoid the temptation to walk your feet toward your hands. Keeping the body nice and long, let your head hang between your arms. Pressing your heels down, wherever down is, it might not touch the floor. Keeping that, let's lift the right leg, pressing through the heel. And then opening the hip, taking the toes nice and high, bending at the knee and pointing it toward the ceiling. Ish. And then releasing that side, we will switch to the second side. So take your time with it. Work in pieces. First, just lifting the leg. And then opening at the hip and bending the knee. Work to keep your shoulders level, chest pressing back toward the thigh, and that right heel sinking toward the floor. We're going to release that side and drop back down into child's pose. Little mini break is over here. Let's move back to down dog. Walking the feet forward, we're coming to standing fold. So feet up underneath the hip bones, toes point forward here. Walking in place a little bit, getting those hamstrings moving. You do not have to have your fingertips touching the floor or your toes. If they touch your shins, your knees, your thighs even, if that's where they need to be, right? Keeping the shoulders back, The spine in a neutral position as much as possible. And you can have a little bend in your knees here if you like. Take the fingers, we're going to interlace them behind the lower back, pulling the shoulder blades together and stretching the knuckles away. So the legs can be straight, try not to lock. And the hands can lift up off the lower back, but that's not really necessary. We want to just keep the shoulders away from the ears. Little bend in the elbows. One more big breath. And then gently release the hands. From here, taking the hands up to the thighs and bringing the body parallel to the floor. Belly's in, you can lean your hands on your thighs as much as you need for some support here. Shoulders back. Bending at the knee, let's make our way into chair. So even here, leaning on the thighs if you feel like you need to lean. Little tuck of the tailbone so you don't feel like your bone's sticking out back there. Even on the four corners of the feet. And then the hands can come to center or extend up alongside the ears. Just kind of play with that and see where you need to be. See if instead of being on the four corners of the feet, you can just come up on your toes. So it might be a little wobbly. Work to keep the knees pointing forward. And then with an inhale, let's extend, stay up on the toes if you can, reach toward the ceiling, and then release it all. All right, so we're gonna start our sun salutes. Remember, you can always thread things in, skip things, take an extra breath somewhere if you need it. All right, make it yours. So with an inhale here, stretch the arms to the ceiling. And exhale into the fold. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhaling, step yourself back to plank. Drop to the knees if you like, take it down to the belly, everything to the floor together, and a little inhale, rolling the shoulders down and back for baby cobra. Back to down dog. And then inhale the feet forward into fold again. One step or 40, whatever. Halfway up on the next inhale. Exhale back over. All the way up. And exhale the arms. So again, like that. Inhale as you lift. Exhale to your fold. Halfway up. Exhale to plank. And down to the belly. Inhale for cobra. Back to down dog. Keep those elbows in, up and back. Inhale, step forward. Halfway up. And back over. Reach for the ceiling. And release the arms. So you know the deal. This next one is yours. It's essentially the same exact thing. Again, you can tweak it a little bit if you need, right? But I'm going to shut my mouth and you're going to do your thing, right? So from the top here, inhale the arms and go. All right. So the next one, we're going to add on. Again, take your time with it. Tweak it if you need. Inhale, let's sit into chair. And then into the fold. Halfway up. Exhaling back to your plank and down to the belly. Inhaling into your cobra, keeping those elbows in, back to down dog. This inhale, the right foot's gonna step forward for lunge. Bring your toes to your fingers, drop the back knee or heel, and lift the upper body. Release it back down, exhaling into your down dog. Slide forward for plank, inhale. Exhale down to the belly. Inhale for cobra. Back to down dog. And then it's the left foot's turn, stepping forward. Healer knees to the mat and lift. Exhale back down. And into down dog. Slide forward for plank. Exhale down. Cobra. And then down dog. So hold down dog or drop into child's pose. Keep the breath smooth. If you drop down to child's pose, lift back to down dog. And with the next inhale, step the feet forward into fold. Halfway up on an inhale. Fold back over. Inhale into chair. And exhale to release it. All right. So next year, those we're going to keep adding on to that. Not right away, maybe start off easier, but we're going to work into that. All right. So keep that in your brain. Let's take a nice little short step with the left foot for warrior one. Toes point forward, so the hips are square here. Bending into the right knee. Press into the back heel. Keep the body upright as much as you can. And then maybe reach the arms. Looking up unless that bothers your neck or makes you too wobbly. From our warrior one here, let's open it up into warrior two. So arms parallel to the floor. Let your left toes turn out a little bit then. And you can probably open your feet a little wider. So play with that. Make the adjustments. Look down, make sure you can see your right big toe. Feeling even on your feet. From warrior two, we're going to take the left hand to the back of the left thigh, turn the right palm toward the ceiling and reach up. See about dropping this right shoulder down and turning your chest toward the ceiling a little bit. Maybe that right arm comes alongside the ear. Try not to let your head just flop back. And then move it back to warrior two. Bending the right arm, rest it on the thigh, and bring the left arm up and over the ear. Let the hips descend. If you don't want to lean with your elbow on your leg, don't. Let the arm just kind of rest here. You can just release the fingertips toward the floor as well. And then let's go ahead and release that over into a lunge. Pressing down into the four corners of the right foot, hop the left foot in. And when you're ready, lift the left toes away from the floor. Parallel to the floor, right? Pressing through the heel, just like we did when we were on hands and knees. The hands can stay on the mat, or you can lift into warrior three, taking the arms wherever the arms need to go. Hips are square, belly supporting. We're going to take another big breath. And then release it into a fold.
So let yourself rest here for a little quick second. And then a bend in the knees, and we're going to roll up through the spine, back to standing.
All right. Same idea on the second side. So let's go ahead and take that short step back with the left foot. And again here, just play with until your feet are where they need to be. So four corners flat on the floor, the toes are pointing forward. You can bend into this left knee and still keep the upper body upright. Extend the arms when you're ready. And then we'll turn it into warrior two. So arms parallel to the floor, turning the right toes out a little bit, adjusting your stance probably a little wider. Even on the feet. Taking the right hand to the back of the thigh, left palm toward the ceiling, reaching up, and then dropping that left shoulder down. We'll come back to the middle. And then bend the left arm, resting on the thigh, and the right arm over the ear. Releasing that over into the lunge. And then hopping the back foot in until you're ready to lift the toes away from the floor for warrior three. And again, just take your time here, build it from the bottom. When you're steady here, you add on, right? Big full breaths. And then back into the fold again. Let yourself hang. And this time dropping back down to the knees and taking a child's pose. In our child's pose here, extend the arms forward as if we were going to lift into down dog, but we're going to shift into kneeling plank. So coming forward, don't let your hips get saggy, keeping them in line, four corners of the hands on the mat. From here, take this right foot out to the right, keeping the knee on the floor, opening the body to the left. So we're in this side plank variation. You can absolutely 100% take the right knee off the floor into full side plank. Extending the left arm, lifting the left leg. See about taking your left hand and bending the left knee, reach for your left foot. So we did this on hands and knees, right? Just opening it up a little bit. Kick the foot into the hand, draw the shoulder back a little bit. And then gently release it all. Make your way back to kneeling plank. And we will work the second side. So the left foot over to the left, opening the body to the right. And again here, adding on as much or as little as you want. Lifting the toes, bending the knee, finding the foot, ending at the fancy stuff. And then gently releasing that side. Coming back to your kneeling plank and gently down into your child's pose again. So we are going to be moving all the way down to the mat. If you do have props that you want to use, grab them before you lay down. Otherwise, you're sliding all over the floor, right? So let's shift, when you're ready, shift back to kneeling plank. Four corners of the hands, nice straight line from the crown of the head to the knees, belly's working. Bend the elbows here, bring it in line with your ribs and hover. Release it all the way down to the belly. And we're going to work on locust here. So, making the body nice and long. We're going to keep the toenails on the floor for right now. Take the hands down the sides of the bodies, arms down the sides of the body. And then pressing the pelvis down, roll your shoulders up by your ears together on your back, down toward your hip bones, and let the chest curl away from the floor. You can just reach the fingertips back toward the heels. You can interlace the fingers. Let yourself breathe, so let yourself rise and fall. It's tempting to keep the belly tight, but you can't breathe that way. Release it down. Make a little pillow for your head with your hands, resting your forehead or your chin on the pillow. And keep the head straight. And then keeping the tailbone turning down toward the floor, extend your big toes toward the back of the room. Spread your toes really wide and use your hamstrings to lift the legs away from the floor. Try not to just squeeze your butt, keeping that tailbone tucked. Protect your lower back. And release it down. So let's put it together. Arms down by your sides, interlace behind your back if that's where you want to be. Okay? Everything else, just put it together. Tailbone turning toward the floor, shoulders rolling up and back and down, and then the legs extending long, lifting away from the floor. Big full breaths. And release down. So just make that little pillow for your head again and give yourself a little minute. Turn the toes toward each other. You can rock on your hips. Shake it out. And you can stick with locust if you like, but we're going to see about moving into bow. So arms back down by your sides, tailbone tucked. Bend the knees this time. And reach back for your feet. So now both at the same time. Maybe both at the same time does not work for you, right? So do what you can. Tucking the tailbone, kicking the heels away from the hips, so curl those shoulders up and back, right? And then maybe lifting the thighs away from the floor. You may find you rock. And release it without releasing your feet, especially if it were really challenging to find your feet. So we're going to lift back up again. Try and keep your knees tucked in. They don't have to touch necessarily, but if they're wide, the next piece is impossible, right? So kick the feet away from the hips, lifting the chest. Lift your thighs if you want to lift your thighs. And here, we're going to rock ourselves over to the right. So you're on your sides.
Keep the tailbone tucked, your feet kicking away. Coming back through the middle and roll to the left. Back to the right again. And left. One more time. Over to the right. And back to the left. This time, let your feet go and roll around your back. And you'll have to scoot back to your mat, obviously. And if you are working with a wall, but you have to move over toward it, maybe now is a good time instead of picking up and dragging all across the room, if that's where you're at. And when you're in the proper place, just let your spine relax into the mat. The feet can be flat to the floor or the legs can be extended, whatever feels good. So if they're not already, take the feet flat to the floor. Check in that the spine feels even. Your shoulders are back, relaxed. We're going to extend the right leg toward the ceiling. And then reach back behind the right leg. Keep the shoulders down and back as much as you can. If you need to use a strap here, feel free to do that. With an exhale, pull that leg a little closer to your body. And then inhale, let it go again. So with the breath in and out, and it doesn't have to be a lot of movement, just a little bit of extra stretch and then a little bit of release. Keeping the spine even on the floor. The left knee is pointing toward the ceiling. And the more you flex the right foot, the deeper the sensation in your hamstring is. So you kind of decide where to put that. So find a neutral place for the leg, not the deepest stretch there. Keeping it straight as much as possible. Extend the left arm out to the left and glue that arm and shoulder to the floor, your left hip to the floor. Support the outside of your right leg with your right hand and let it start to drift to the right. Keeping the heel in line with the hip. It's easier to let it drop down toward the bottom of your mat, but that's not really the point. We want to keep the backside even on the mat. Support the leg with the hands so that this inner hip can release. And then we're going to bring it back up to the top. Release the right foot. And we will do the same thing on the second side. So that left leg up. And again, ideally the leg is straight. Whether you have to use a strap or not, try and keep your shoulders back. Reaching back behind the left thigh. And then again here, just that little bit of in and out. And maybe your leg will barely move. This is okay, right? We're trying to find the edge. Just gently work into it. Take just a couple more nice deep breaths like that, working and again, finding that edge. Finding your center, extending the right arm. Support with the left and let that leg drift out to the left. So the backside is just as even on the floor as it was when your leg was pointing toward the ceiling, yes? Release the weight of the left leg into your arm. Again, straighter the foot, flexing the foot, the deeper, straighter than D. Flexing the foot. We'll change the sensation a little bit, so add on if you like. And then bring that leg back to the center and release it. So on the back here, we'll go ahead and cross the legs, cross that right leg over the left with your knees tight, right? If you can tuck the right foot behind the left calf, lovely, go for it, right? If not, don't worry about it. We're gonna let the legs fall over to the left. Tuck that right foot underneath a little bit so you can extend over as much as possible. And just let the legs rest to the side. One more nice big breath here. And then bring yourself back to the center. Keep the legs crossed the same way. Now let them drop over to the right. Rest your shoulders. And bring it back up to the middle. Uncross the legs. And we're going to cross them the second way. So check in that your spine feels neutral on the mat if you got a little crooked. Right? Cross the left knee over the right, nice and tight. Tuck the right foot behind the calf if that's something your body is capable of. And then go ahead and drop the legs over to the right. Tucking that left foot underneath so you can really let the legs just rest to the side. Sometimes that foot will get in the way and hold you back. Do what you can. And another nice big breath here. Coming back to the middle. Legs are crossed the same way, and we drop them over to the left. Another nice big breath over here. And gently back to the middle again. Releasing the legs. Even yourself out if you need. Draw the knees into the chest and let yourself walk. So we're going to move ourselves to the wall if you have an available wall, or if you haven't already. You can put the end of your mat to the wall, or you can just move your body there if your floors are clean, whatever. You can definitely take a block here. You can take a blanket, any little prop that you like. And we're basically going to scoot the bottom down to the baseboard. Right? So you can start sideways, roll yourself up, or inchworm yourself, or whatever. Right? However you get there. So if your hamstrings are tight, having your bottom at the baseboard with your legs straight is going to be very challenging. So maybe you're a little bit away. Right? But the idea is to rest the legs. And you can make this work, but you do not have to. Right? So relaxing your shoulders back, checking in that your upper body feels nice and aligned here. You can absolutely just hang here, right? If you do have a block or some other variation of a prop, if you take your feet to the wall and lift your bottom up, you can rest your pelvis on the block, so you get a little extra lift there. If that feels great, lovely. If you don't have anything or you don't love it, forget it. Right? And then you have some options here as well. You could put a bolster under your shoulder blades so that your chest opens as well. You can bring the soles of your feet together and let the knees fall open. You can take a wide stance with your legs, right? So play with it and find where your body is heaviest. And when you find that place, release into it. If at any point you feel like you need to come down, absolutely do. You can take a seated meditation at the wall, or just lie flat in traditional Shavasana. Find your happy place this morning. Release your breath. Just allow yourself a few minutes to simply be. If you are still in legs at the wall position and or propped in any manner, gently roll yourself off your props or lift yourself off your props. Take the feet to the wall. Slowly roll over to the side and just pause there for a moment.
When you're ready, slowly make your way upright, coming to a comfortable seat. Sitting well. Bring the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. So sorry about that rude awakening there, but I got. So thanks, you guys. Thanks for practicing with me. Merry Christmas if you're a Christmas celebrator. Have a lovely weekend. It's really pretty out there. I have to get out in there. Right? And we will have a really gentle practice to close out the year next Saturday. And then we kick it all back into gear. So enjoy your weekend. Thanks for practicing with me, you guys. Yeah, Christmas Eve. All right, have a great weekend, y'all. Bye.